Before I begin today's video, I'd just like to let you guys know I've been doing a blind playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles over on my Twitch channel, and I've been having a blast. So if you'd like to watch me play it, there's a link in the description below. And with that out of the way, let's get started. It seems that talks of a potential Final Fantasy XVI, the next mainline Final Fantasy, has been swirling around for the past few weeks. Square Enix has a long-running tendency to reveal the next mainline Final Fantasy alongside the reveal of the next PlayStation home console, them showing either a look at the next mainline Final Fantasy, or at the very least a tech demo, goes all the way back to Final Fantasy VI SGI, and that was during the days of the PlayStation 1 and N64. The most persistent rumor and bit of fan speculation is that Final Fantasy XIV's Naoki Yoshida is the one directing Final Fantasy XVI. After all, about a year ago, it was said that he was working on a brand new title that was slated to be a PlayStation 5 game, and it was pretty alluded to be something related to the Final Fantasy series. Considering that the veterans of the Final Fantasy series, such as Tetsuya Nomura, Yoshinori Kitase, Motomu Toriyama, are all working on Final Fantasy VII Remake, it made sense that he would somehow split the workload with Final Fantasy XIV and all of its upcoming content, and a brand new Final Fantasy XVI. After all, this is what Tetsuya Nomura has been doing with both Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy VII Remake, directing two massive projects at the exact same time. However, just recently in a live broadcast featuring Naoki Yoshida, he was asked this question, and of course he denied his involvement in the project. Yoshida said that he was annoyed with the rumor and assured everyone he will continue his involvement with Final Fantasy XIV for years to come. After denying the rumors, Yoshida said, quote, "I'm still going to continue being in charge of Final Fantasy XIV for more years to come, as long as I don't die from sickness or accident, so please ignore any non-official announcements. It's so bothersome." Of course, that doesn't mean that Square Enix isn't actively working on Final Fantasy XVI right now, but according to the man himself, he's not involved with it. If that is the case, and Naoki Yoshida is not involved at all with Final Fantasy XVI, it really does make you wonder what exactly his new project is. In the job description for Naoki Yoshida's new project, it described it as the studio's new main project, following Final Fantasy XIV, and will be a large-scale game for next-generation consoles. So it being a project that follows Final Fantasy XIV, it could really only be one of two things: a brand new MMO, which would severely undermine the statements that he just made. Then of course, if it's not an MMORPG, it would then be a single player game, which I think most people were expecting for Final Fantasy XVI. So even if this is something unrelated to Final Fantasy at all, he's still working on another game that's not Final Fantasy XIV, which seemingly contradicts his statement. It could be entirely possible that he's not the one directing the project, but perhaps he has more of a producer role involved with it. And in that sense, it's more like he oversees the project rather than having a direct creative role in it. It's also possible that this new large-scale game for next-generation consoles, as it describes itself, is somehow related to Final Fantasy XIV, perhaps even an FF16 spin-off. But in either case, his business division is definitely working on something that is not Final Fantasy XIV. That much has basically been confirmed already. But with the reveal of the PlayStation 5 happening sometime soon, I don't think we'll have to wait too much longer. With that said, Ultima, I want to hear from you. If Yoshida is not directing Final Fantasy XVI, what do you think his next generation console game could be? Subscribe, click the bell icon, and let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the content on my channel, be sure to check out the Patreon for the Night Sky Prince, where people like Chobo are my foundation of support. So if this channel's videos mean a lot to you, be sure to check the link in the description below. Shout out to Chobo and the rest of the Ultima community.